So let's see how well this warship can trade. Hey everybody, Troa here, back for another episode of Elite Dangerous, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at the true successor to the Type 9, and that is the Cutter. Now, if you guys have seen my previous videos on the Cutter, you know pretty well how I feel about that, and that hasn't really changed. The thing about the Cutter is that it is a fantastic trader, absolutely amazing. It's, at the time currently, it is the best trader in the game. And there are a few reasons for that, and I wanted to touch on that really quickly, and this is why I'm starting here on the Type 9. The Cutter ticks all the right boxes to be a great trader. It has survivability in the form of speed, mass lock, and shields. It has defensibility in terms of weapons. And it has a huge cargo capacity and a pretty good jump range. That is the perfect wish list that any trader would want to have. And there have been traders in the past that have done this, the Clipper being an example, the Python being another one, and the Type 6. And some could also argue the Adder as well. And of course the Anaconda. These are all ships that have met that standard. They have some sort of defensive and survivable aspect to them, be it firepower, speed, shields, armor, etc. The Type 7 and the Type 9, however, are ships that are just stepping stone ships, which has always kind of surprised me because I would have always imagined the Type 9 to be a long-range, like, semi-truck, you know what I mean? It just goes the distance and carries the goods. And as a trader, I always expected it to be better than the Anaconda, and in very rare circumstances it is, but because it doesn't tick those boxes, because it isn't defendable, it isn't fast, it doesn't have good shields, it doesn't have good armor, it doesn't have good weapons, it doesn't have a good jump range, but it does have a good cargo capacity. And that's what makes the Type 9 good. The Anaconda does it better because it has better jump range, and better shields, and weapons, and mass lock. So, we go ahead and move on now to the actual successor, and that is the Cutter. And like I said, it ticks all of the right boxes to be a great trader. Absolutely fantastic. Essentially what I always imagined the Type 9 would be, minus the speed, and minus the weapons, and maybe even the mass lock. A good jump range, a high cargo capacity, and good shields. That's what I expected out of the Type 9, and this is one example where Frontier got it completely right, but they also got it completely wrong. The thing about the Cutter is that you can find it on sale in Liangrui, which I'm probably saying that wrong still, Liangrui's space. Now, I haven't yet to actually find a place to do that. I've looked all over Reddit, I've looked in the forums, I've looked personally, and I've not been able to find one. If I do find out where one is, I'm going to put it in the description, and if you guys know where one is, please leave a comment. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and buy one here at Shinrada Desra at the Jameson Memorial, where they have everything, and it's all 10% off. That extra 5% would be nice though, however, because it would lower my rebuy. Now, to get a Cutter or a Corvette, you need to be a couple of ranks. One of them is Rear Admiral for the Federation, and the other one is Duke for the Empire. Now, there are a lot of ways to do this, and I'm going to touch on them in a separate video later on. So, I'll help you guys out as far as that one goes, if you haven't known already and anything else like that. There are a lot of ways to do it, and trust me, I've done absolutely everything. I spent, up until pretty much now, doing everything I could to try to find an efficient way to rank up. Now, doing regular missions, I've done every mission, and none of them really help your rank at all. but I'll get into that in another episode. For now, let's go ahead and buy the cutter. I do love this cockpit, though. This is a really, really nice cockpit. Very, very nice. Very nice. Alright, so let's go into outfitting here and see what you come up with stock. 2 pulse lasers. Fantastic. I hope they don't sell them to the military that way. It'd be a very embarrassing warship. Nothing really much to see in the internals, but we're going to go ahead and change that, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing outfitted the way I'm going to run it, at least initially. And kind of see how it works out. I might tweak it a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and put in the description a whole bunch of builds as far as a baseline of where you can start out with this ship. As far as, like, you know, anywhere from shieldless to fully shielded and fully weaponized, and what I would run. And I'll catch you guys after that's all said and done, and I'll show you what I came up with. Alright guys, so we're back, and now I'm going to go ahead and go over my build. Nothing really, you know, too out of the ordinary here. This should really not be a surprise to most people. So as far as the weapon goes, I'm running all turrets, and, well, the reason for that is because the ship really can't turn very well. And as a trader, you're going to be running away from things, and turrets are, well, they can shoot behind you, so that is, you know, pretty much what you want to do. Now, as far as the internals go, obviously, you know, lightweight armor. I have an A7 power plant, and there's a reason for that. A7 power plant is lighter than a D8, and it is also more heat efficient. It costs a bit more, so if that's a concern, then yeah, go with the D8. But otherwise, yeah, go with the A7 of a lower class. Thrusters are a D8, obviously, and, you know, that's for weight savings more than anything else. This ship is plenty fast with a D8. It doesn't really stop much better with A-class thrusters anyway, and they weigh a lot more and use a lot more power. Frameshift drive is an A-class, obviously, and, yeah. As far as the shield generator, though, what I'm going to be using here is the A6, and that is the smallest shield that you can actually put on this thing. You can't put a class 5 on it. It has to be a class 6. And because boosters work off of your base shield, I'm going to be running the A variant rather than D variant. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get out of here, and we're going to go find I'm going to look up a trade route that's near me. Just something random, give this thing a test, and see how much money it brings in. Let you guys tag along for this so you can kind of see what it's like to trade in this monstrosity. I'll see you guys when we get there.
Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
Now this thing is actually a real big pain to land, so I'm basically letting all of my retro thrusters fire. And I found out a trick with this thing is to kind of flip to get it to stop. Which seems to help.
Landing gear deployed.
I really am flying this thing like it's a Type 9 and not a cutter, not a Gudamaya ship.
Engines disengaged.
Alright, so we've landed. Let's go ahead and get those goods. There it is. Alright, palladium. So I'm going to go ahead and load up on this stuff. Kind of show you guys how much it costs to actually fill up. So a full load of palladium is 9.1 mil. Yeah, a little bit more, so 9.2. So I mean, keep that in mind when you're buying the cutter. You're going to need around 10 million for cargo as a safe bet. And the rebuy cost for this one, again, and this was all 10% off, so it's going to be a little bit lower than it would be if you bought it anywhere. Just over 15 million, so about 25 million is what you want to tack on. So we're going to get out of here now.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
Come on, stop sliding. It doesn't take long to get out of mass lock. So let's go to Woo Cuckoo. Now this isn't exactly a great route. It's an alright route. It allows me to really show how trading in the ship is. So it's alright. It would actually be better to do in an Anaconda than a cutter, but it'll still get the example across. Now even with the jump range on this thing, it was still about 5 jumps to get here. Let's see if we can get this thing in the door without crashing or flying past the door.
Docking request granted.
Loitering is a crime punishable by death. Please make sure you have authorization to enter the dock.
Nowhere near as fast to land as the Anaconda.
disengaged.
Let's go ahead and refuel, and then let's go ahead and grab what we came here for and sell our wares. Let's see how much we get for this. 1,600 per ton? That's not bad. Alright, so 1,160,000 basically. That's not bad for one way. It'd be a lot better in the Anaconda, I think, on this route. So we're going to pick up some Viagra for the return trip. It's a lot of tonnage of Viagra, but that old folks' home isn't going to help itself. So let's go back. And let's go ahead and deliver these to the nursing home, where they will obviously go to good use. 728 tons of Viagra. I hope all the ladies are ready for bingo.
Frameshift drive charging.
Alright, 5 jumps later, we are back.
Docking request granted. Scan detected.
Oh no, they're after my Viagra. Shoo, cops. This isn't for you.
Landing gear deployed. Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
It doesn't look like the Viagra market is really picking up, but even still, I think that's a little over 2 million round trip. Not bad. So let's check out the paint job for this thing that came with the pre-order. Ooh. Daddy likey. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Kinda don't like how the ramp is still white. Or those rear thrusters, but... And I kinda wish the chrome and the metal looked a little bit more like chrome and metal. But still, that's a sexy ship. It's kinda hard to decide if I like it better in black or white. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. I figured I'd be a little bit lighter in the tone with this one. Yes, I'm still pretty salty about the cutter in its current incarnation. As a trader, oh my, so good. So good. Amazing trader. And as I found out since making this video, a pretty good smuggler too. It's a great ship. And as a trader, absolutely phenomenal. And as a general PvE farming ship, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. It really does depend, though, on what you compare it to. Because if you compare it to its lineage, the Clipper, as a Gudamaya ship, and as a warship against its constituents, it falls apart. The ship as a warship is utter garbage. Utter garbage. The pitch rate, the retro thrusters, how they stop the ship and maneuver the ship under boost especially, just doesn't feel like a Gudamaya ship, especially one designed for war. It makes a fantastic space trucker, though, the best in the game. I'll give it that. I will give it that. But anyway, guys, I hope you like this example into the Imperial Cutter as its intended role, as a trader. And until FD change the pitch rate and the way that the retro thrusters burn under boost, and that power distributor that's woefully undersized for a warship with that many hardpoints and one of them being a huge one, this ship is not going to really be a warship. It's going to be a trader and a tank. And that's sad, but that them's the breaks. That's what it is. So hopefully, Frontier, if you're watching this, please make this a warship first and a trader second. That's what it should be. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, all that good stuff. Always appreciated. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a happy holidays, and be safe. Peace.